Hey everyone, before we start the video, I just want to give a quick shout out to a Union Arena tournament that I'm running alongside of Dragon Eye Gaming. Dragon Eye Gaming is the local hobby shop that I shop at and play at all my events at. They're awesome, and they are co-hosting this event that we're going to be running on November 10th. That's this Sunday at 4 p.m. EST. It's going to be a webcam format. There's going to be a triple box tournament. They're going to be providing a JJK box, a Hunter box, and Bleach box. And it's only $10 an entry, and I'm going to be providing custom winner cards as well, winner AP cards. You can see here there's like 2 that are samples, but I have a ton more on my website. So those winner cards are going to be stamped with a winner golden stamp for the top 8. And then I think it's like we're going to have additional prizing as well. And so make sure to check it out. There's only a few more spots left. We had to just recently increase the capacity because we sold out, and then people were asking if they could still join. And so make sure to enter before it's too late. And with that being said, let's get back to the video. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm coming at you with a Union Arena video. We're going to be going through a green Bleach deck that I put together, and I've been having a ton of fun with this deck. I know there's been a ton of deck lists out there that were more Toshiro, Hitsugaya focused, and others that were more Yamamoto focused, but this is going to be more of a hybrid deck list, and so I've been playing a ton of Union Arena. You can ask my buddies. I've just been playtesting a ton of different decks, like pretty much every single Bleach deck that there is and every single Hunter deck that there is. I've played quite extensively. And yeah, I'm just going to be doing a series of deck profiles where on some of my favorite decks out of all the testing that I had. And so I've played a ton of green Bleach. I've been trying to make this work, but I do think it does have its issues. But I landed upon this iteration and I really like it. I think it has a lot of play lines. I think it's a little difficult to pilot though, because we're running slightly different ratios, but if you memorize the ratios and you see what you saw, like just knowing what you have coming up on the draw based off of what you saw on your cards already, I think this does reward you. But I will say, tough matchups are still probably Kurapika. Just Snipe and Impact is such a busted combination. But we can talk about that in a different video. But let's go over this. I'm going to go over it in kind of the packages that I run. I think that makes the most sense. So we are running a mini Toshiro package. So we have 4 copies of the 0-drop Toshiro. We're running just 1 copy of the 2-drop Toshiro, so it's only 5 total Toshiros that we're running, and we have 3 of the raid Toshiros. And so, general rule of thumb, I like to have 2 of the unrated raidable targets for every 1 raid target that I have. And so I am running a slightly smaller package of this because the Toshiro Hitsugaya 2-drop takes the same slot as the 5-drop Yamamoto, and I do actually value that higher than the Toshiro. And so, and the reason being is because your Unohana can actually search out any of these cards, but she cannot search out the 5-drop Yamamoto or the 7-drop Yamamoto. And so we do play Unohana in this deck. And so it's actually easier to see Toshiro than it is to see and grab your Yamamotos. And so that's the reason why. Plus, this Toshiro is only a 35. The other Yamamoto is a 4K that generates an energy from the front line, which is also very important in this deck. And so there's that. We're running a Unohana package. 3 of the 2-drop, 3 of the 0-drop Unohanas, and then 2 of the 2-drop that draws you 1. So this is also kind of lean because we are running only 5 copies with 3 of the raid Unohanas. But again, most of the time you're playing an Unohana early, like the 0-drop or the 2-drop, and that's staying in your back line until you're ready to drop the Unohana If you have 2 copies, and yeah, you can push one up just to be a trump blocker, but most of the time she's kind of safe until you're ready to use her, and so there's that. We're running 3 copies of the Yamamoto 1-drop. He reads, if this is the only character in your front line, then he gets 1000 BP, making him 3000 BP. I like this trigger too because you get this card in your hands. Pretty much all these 0-drops that we have previously have that same trigger. And so we're running 3 of those and then 3 of the 5-drop Yamamoto captains. And so total of 6 Yamamotos. And yeah, this card is really good. It's this. If you guys look at the meta, having a 4K body in the front is very important and can cause a lot of pressure. And we saw that in the Rush Renji deck, right, in purple. We see that kind of pseudo in the Kurapika deck because it just arbitrarily has so many 4K Kurapikas, even pumping up to the 5Ks. And so anytime you're able to produce a 4K body, it's really strong. And yeah, the fact that he generates an energy in the front line lets us hit our Unohanas, being a 6 energy, and lets us hit this raid captain much easier. So we're running 3 copies of the raid captain. Really, really good card. He's a closer. I would not recommend playing him early. We'll talk about the strategy of this deck later, but for the most part, you're using your Hitsugayas, your Unohanas to kind of trade and get them down, and Yamamoto can just steal games for you towards the end, right? Once you have like your backline filled with 3 double energies and like maybe a 1-drop Yamamoto, you just drop this Yamamoto and push everything up. Now you're swinging, your whole energy line is swinging, and so it allows us to stay competitive once we've had maybe most of our front line removed from Purple Bleach or Snipe from Kurapika, right? And so him buffing up everyone 2000 as well makes a huge difference. It makes it so even our weenies. And that was one of the problems that I had with this deck, right? Because before I added the Yamamoto package in, if they dealt with my Hitsugayas, Unohanas, my Kenpachis, what was left were just these like 2K, 3K weenies that they could just block with their rated characters, right? Like things like Ichigo would come onto the board, remove my high drop, and then now I have nothing to swing back into theirs, unless you see your removals. And so this Yamamoto really solves that issue, and him having impact and being a 5K really does matter too. And so we're going to go around, and now we're going to talk about the 2 energy package. And so I'm running 3 copies of Jushiro Ukitake, and so I think this card is really, really good. It allows us to get 2 energy when we need it, and so that kind of rounds out our 0 drops. We were running a total of 10, and the reason why we're only running 10 is because we're playing the 3 1-drops, and then we're playing 2 copies of Nanao, which allows us to kind of ramp up sequentially quite early. So Nanao is the one where it's a 1-drop. When you play her, you have to bounce back a character with 1 energy or less required. Otherwise, she gets returned to hand, but she's like a really early energy ramp. And so I really like this card. We are running 4 copies of Sajin. The more I play this game, the more I value Step. Just being able to kind of maybe block an early swing and then later on go down for energy, or just move up to swing if you don't need the energy that turn. If it doesn't get removed, you can move it back. So I like flexible cards, and so started to really value Sajin a lot. And so he does have a great when attacking too. He just gives another 13 Quartz Guard 500 BP, and his trigger is great. It's just the restand and give 3000 BP to one of your characters. We're running 3 copies of the Shunsui. And so in this deck, it's really important to see double energy. This is why I'm running so many. There are times where I've cut this package down to just 3 and 1, and it was really rough. If 2 are in your life, then you only had 2 in your deck, and then if you just didn't see if they were in the bottom of your deck, you could never play your top end. And so I do like to run a very robust 2 energy package. But the great thing is the captain makes such great use of these two, right? Because now you're threatening a 4,500 double attack with Shunsui, and then you have a 5,000 steppable character, right? So you can go back to your energy after, and if you want to, with Sajin, and yeah, and that Sajin will buff something else when it attacks too, and so really, really good. We have 2 copies of the 4-drop 2 action point Kenpachi. This is the one that removes based off of how many 3 court guard captains you have, or court 13 court guard squads. Dang, that's a mouthful. But yeah. So if you have less than 6 other ones, it only hits a 2K. If you have 6 other ones on the field, you can KO a 4K. So really flexible, really good. Honestly, sometimes I'll just play him to KO a weenie and then just have a 4K body on board because, again, I really do value the 4K bodies, and so he does have impact as well. We're running 1 copy of the 4-drop 1 action point Kenpachi. He's able to swing as a 5K during your turn, and so that does matter against the Kurapika matchup. I really wish I could run 1 more of these, but for now I'm testing the 1. If in the future I may drop a Shunsui to play 2 of these Kenpachis, because I think it's really important to be able to swing 5K, especially in the Kurapika matchup. And so lastly, we're running 2 copies of Shinji. This card's really good. When played, you can give one of your 13 court guard squads impact for the turn, and so really, really good. Just sometimes it's what you need just to close out the game, and so I'm running those at 2 of because I definitely want to see at least 1 per game. And there were a ton of games where I would just like play Unohana, search the top 4, grab the Shinji, play the Shinji, gave Unohana impact, and then that was enough to close out a game. And so yeah. And then lastly, we're running 4 copies of Bankai. I don't think they're me to explain that, and 4 copies of Daiguren. And so this is the deck list. Again, it runs quite lean, but you can kind of see the different packages that are working in this deck. Some tips and tricks. I guess don't be afraid to just drop some rated characters that are not going to be rateable, right? There are plenty of times I've played like Hitsugaya, just vanilla, just because I needed a 4K body on the board to keep pressure and to not drop too low on life. And yeah, because honestly, like, you only really need 1 or 2 well-timed Toshiro raids to really close out a game or swing a game to your favor enough to drop a Yamamoto. And so try this deck list out. I know the ratios are weird. You have to really think a lot more about how much you're willing to sacrifice, like the smaller Unohanas and Hitsugayas, but once you get used to the ratios, man, it does feel much stronger. It feels like I had more play lines available to me for this deck, and so I was able to flex a lot more. And so give it a try. Let me know what you guys think, if there's any other changes you guys would make, or if there's any other cards I should be considering. But yeah, been really enjoying this deck. I'm probably going to do a tier list video and an updated blue slots video, and maybe talk about my green hunter deck, which is my Going to Friends one that I've been really enjoying. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be doing a ton of Union Arena content. Oh, and we also have I might have mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but we do have a Union Arena event going on. It is a win a box, I think it's a triple box tournament actually, for JJK, Bleach, and Hunter. And so, I'm also giving away, I'm not giving away, but there's also a ton of prizing for like custom action points that I make, and so this is just one of them. I have a ton of different ones, but the winners, like the top 8, will get a winner stamped action point set, and so make sure to check it out. I think we're almost actually sold out. We had to increase the number of spots because the event sold through, so make sure to check that out. I'll have the link below. The event is for this upcoming Sunday, and so yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Adakai TCG out.